Hi, this is Lara at Elliott Wave Gold with your daily analysis for Tuesday 4th of March. I'm recording the video 5 minutes to 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. The situation is unclear. While price remains within that green channel on the daily chart, we should assume that the trend remains the same. The trend is your friend, and we have not had confirmation of a trend change at this stage. I want to see a full daily candlestick below the lower edge of that green channel on the daily chart before I have confidence that minor wave A is over and minor wave B is underway. I have two wave counts for you today, and at this stage I do not favour one or the other. That's why I'm labelling them first and second, not main and alternate. The first wave count follows on from yesterday's wave count. It sees the possibility that minor wave A was over here, and it sees within minute wave C the third wave ending here. The bigger picture for both of the wave counts remains the same. It still sees primary wave 4 as incomplete and unfolding as either a double combination or, as per the alternate, a triangle. If it's a combination, the first structure in the double is a zigzag, labelled intermediate wave W. The two structures of the double are joined by a 3 in the opposite direction. This is a zigzag, labelled intermediate wave X. And the second structure of the combination may be either a flat, most likely, or a triangle. For both of those, the A wave should subdivide as a 3, and it's usually a zigzag. The only question I have with the wave count at this stage is from this low here on up to the high. Is this a completed 5-wave impulse, or do we have one final 5th wave up? Draw this green channel around the minute wave C wave upwards on the daily chart, draw it from this low here to this low here, and place a parallel copy on this high. I want to see a full daily candlestick below the lower green trend line here and not touching that green trend line before I have confidence that minor wave A may be over. While price on the daily chart remains within that channel or only overshoots it, then we must accept the possibility of new highs before this is over. Let's have a look at the end of minor A from the end of minute or minuet wave 3 up here, this point up here. For this first wave count, there is a ratio between 3 and 5 at minuet degree, and especially the ratios within minuet wave 3 at subminuet or orange degree are exceptionally good. That adds a little bit of confidence to this wave count. This movement here subdivides best as a double flat. The first flat, an expanded flat, labelled subminuet wave W. We have a triangle here for X and another expanded flat for Y, which took price very slightly beyond the end of W, so the whole thing mostly moved sideways. That has the best fit for this piece of movement. The problem is with this piece of movement, on the hourly chart I want to see from this low to this high a completed 5, which means from this low to this high it has a best look as a 3-wave structure on the hourly chart. I've published my analysis on the 5-minute chart of this movement for both of the wave counts because it's critical, and I'll let members judge for themselves which one is more likely. This movement is ambiguous. It can fit as either a 3 or a 5, but it has a best look as a 3. If minor wave A is over here, then we need to see a 535 down on the hourly chart, and so far we don't have that. A clear breach of the lower edge of the green channel on the hourly chart would be an early indication of a possible trend change, but it won't be enough to give me confidence. I want to see that channel breached on the daily chart in order to have confidence in a trend change up here. Within the new downward movement, no second wave correction can move beyond the start of the first wave above 1354.84. At the daily chart level, this is the second wave count. It differs up in this piece of movement here. I want to see the third wave over here because on the daily chart that actually has the more typical look. 1, 2, 3, 4, and all this overlapping could be an ending diagonal for the final 5th wave. Let's have a look at this on the hourly chart where the third wave ends here just off to the left of the chart, here's the end of the fourth wave, and here's the start of the possible diagonal. An ending diagonal has all of its subwaves which must subdivide as zigzags, single zigzags. That's the only possible structure for the subwaves of an ending diagonal. So we have a zigzag for 1, and we have to see this as a single zigzag for 2. A zigzag for 3, this has a better fit. Now we're seeing this upwards movement as a 3, which is what you want to see it as on the hourly chart. But now we have to see this as a single zigzag, and it doesn't quite have as good a fit. We have to see an ending diagonal here, and the problem is within the first wave. That just doesn't really look right. If we've got an ending diagonal unfolding, then it's an ending contracting diagonal. The fourth wave is shorter than the second, and the third wave, importantly, is shorter than the first. That limits the fifth wave to no longer than equality with the third. So, for this wave count, if we're going to see a final upward thrust, it can't take price above 1366. That's where the fifth wave would reach equality in length with the third, and for all structures, a core Elliott wave rule is a third wave may never be the shortest. Within a diagonal, the fourth wave should overlap first wave price territory. This one does. The rule for the end of a fourth wave in a diagonal is it can't move beyond the end of the second. This wave count is invalidated at this stage with movement below 1319.72. This wave count doesn't have quite as good a fit within the minuet wave 3. The ratios there are adequate, but they're not as startlingly good as the first wave count. So, despite this having a better fit, that slightly reduces the probability of the second wave count. That's why I judge them to have about an even probability. They both have their good points, and they both have their problems. At the daily chart level, it's still also possible. Primary 4 is a huge triangle. The problem up in here, are we going to have a final upward thrust or not, is still exactly the same. That triangle doesn't diverge from the main wave count at this stage, and it won't diverge for several weeks. That's all for me today with your gold analysis, and I hope that all our members are having a fabulous day.